Welcome everyone to the Outreach Mentor. It's so wonderful to see quite a few of you online. Hopefully, there'll be more online and we'll get to watch our wonderful segment today uh, with Abigail and Paloma. And this is the first time we are actually going live and really happy to get so much support from all you students who are so enthusiastic and so ready to learn and to gain a lot of information from what is on this channel. I hope all the videos have been useful to each and every one of you uh, because a lot of trouble has been taken by a lot of students who have done a lot of research and they are guiding you all on the right path. This is first-hand information that they get, and they've learned through all of their mistakes, and they share it with you all, and they hope that you all have also a very bright future. So I'm really happy that this channel is doing so well, and it would not have been possible if it was not for your support. Um, Today, I have two wonderful guests with me who are going to be live. I am actually going to give the floor to them. But before that, I will just give you a brief introduction on what we'll be talking about. Okay, so basically, the student community moving to colleges and universities have been hit very hard by the pandemic, with no clarity on competitive exams or admission schedules for institutes of tertiary education. Parents are worried, certainly, about their children's academics due to coronavirus related partial assessments, grading, college closures, etc. Speaking as a parent myself, I would think it is of concern. But we have students here who are brave, who have been resilient, and who have pulled themselves together to go through this pandemic. And I really give them full credit for what they are doing. I've never seen students work like this before. And I'm so glad that it's a positive turn that they have taken. And they have not taken anything negative towards it. In fact, you have students helping one another. In fact, on the platform itself, I have two students from Astudia, is Dahlia, as well as Aryan Margot, who speak only positivity, and they are having internships to help other students. So that's so much of encouragement from students itself. So I really commend them, and I hope to have more students doing such things to help one another. Uh, I think parents don't need to worry much only because the students have taken it upon themselves to be resilient and to brave the storm. So, without further ado, I'd love to call on my two guests. They are both Dinah Award winners, Abigale Fernandes and Paloma Vegas. Welcome to the Outreach Mentor.
Thank you, Ms. Murray, for having us on the Outreach Mentor. This platform is definitely so helpful. It's definitely so useful for parents, students, and everybody. And we hope that we could be of some use to the viewers out there and we could help you all. Good afternoon, everybody. We are very happy to be here. And just to clarify, this is Abigail and I am Paloma. And we're really glad to be here and hope you all will find this interesting and helpful. So without further ado, I think we can start on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abigail and Paloma. Um, I'd like to take on a first question to put forward to you all, and that is how has the experience of going through the pandemic phase been for you all?
if you see, the pandemic has been very subjective. It's been very different for different people. For some, it's positive. For some, it's a rocky patch.
Yeah.
But if you would personally ask us from our personal experience, it's been quite a good experience for us. And I think we owe it to the good network that we have around us. What do you say, Paloma?
Yeah, I think we are very grateful and very fortunate to have had a very good learning experience during this pandemic period. We've had a very good learning curve, and I think we are one of the very few fortunate people who have gotten to experience that. So really, we are thankful to all the people around us, and yeah.
Also, like if you speak about the pandemic, it's also technologically very rewarding. It has been very
Yeah.
technologically rewarding for us because we have been exposed to a lot of opportunities that I think sometimes you wouldn't get physically. So if you see that the pandemic has opened, like this HD screen has actually given us a lot of opportunities. It has given us the ability, I think, to explore our capabilities and just push our boundaries. So
And I think one of the most rewarding aspects of this entire pandemic experience has been that we've been able to build a very, very strong network of people around us, whether it is international or whether it is strengthening bonds already within our friend group. So I think we are very fortunate to have that and to move on to having such a strong foundation of such healthy networks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if to add on to what Paloma just said, I think this is also the phase where you need important mentors. You need people who can guide you in the right path. And I think this is the time you actually build that. That's like the foundation. This is the time you lay the foundation to all of that.
Yeah.
So if we get that opportunity because of technology and because of the opportunities out there. So to those hearing this right now, if there's one tip that I would give personally, is build your network. Start exploring, not just in your community but beyond that, because this is the time right now for
And
that.
make use of the time you have at home. You have your
Yeah.
family with you.
Yeah, you have plenty
So-
of time, in
Yeah,
fact.
so take advantage of that. Make sure you spend time with your family, because who knows what's there in the future. So
Yeah.
I think make use of what you have today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Okay, go on to my next question. Do you think it is advisable for students to take a gap year because of such uncertainty?
I think we really can't advise, because
Yeah.
taking gap year is mostly of personal choice, because people usually take gap years because of certain experiences or their situation or how
Or
things
sometimes
have
just
worked out.
opportunities that
Yeah,
they
or
require.
how things have worked out for them. So I think there are various reasons as to why we take a gap year. Yeah.
But also, like if you're taking a gap year, do keep in mind that this is also plenty of time that you get. So use this time to maybe build your portfolio, try out new courses. I mean, there are plenty of courses out there. There are free courses that you have on different platforms that you can explore. And also, if you can use this gap year, in fact, to maybe work towards your course that you want, because if you're aiming for a big university that you want to go to, this is the time when you can maybe work on internships. You can work on programs, or you can work on just personal skill development, because skill development does hold a lot of importance in your portfolio. So
Yeah.
add on to those things on your portfolio and use this time wisely.
I think whatever it is that you want to pursue, there are a lot of opportunities available, especially online, because since we've all shifted from that on-site work experience to now online, there has been a lot of there are a lot of courses, a lot of internships that you can do online that are really very helpful, and trust us, they are a very big plus point to your resumes. You look very viable to colleges. Colleges would love to have someone involved in
Yeah.
co-curricular activities in their colleges. So I think you should really work. If you take a gap year, you should
Use your
really
time wisely.
use that time to invest academically and in a co-curricular manner to your resume. Yeah.
I'd just like to ask a personal question, but probably for y'all, do you think y'all would take a gap year, or if y'all have already gotten to colleges that your like and
Yeah, I think touchwood, like we have, like we do not require a gap year because we had enough on our plate for applying.
Yeah.
But I would highly recommend that do not just sort for something. If you feel that you require that time, then go for it because it's ultimately your choice and it's your future. So there's no particular time, for you achieving that point of success out there. You can achieve it on your pace, and you never know. Maybe your friends have taken a gap year but you haven't, or it's vice versa. So give yourself that time, understand, look at the consequences, look at the benefits of it, and then go for it.
Yeah, and one very important thing to note is that just because you are taking a gap year, it does not mean that you are falling behind in any way. Because at the end of the day, it's all in your hands. It depends on how you decide to invest that extra year and how you want to, what kind of efforts you want to put into that year. So it all depends on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're making students really comfortable with, their doubts as well by the way you all are speaking. And I also feel you are very confident about what you all want to do and you all are going to go for it. So I really wish you all the very best for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. All the best to you guys too out
Yeah.
there who are watching this.
Great. So my next question would be, what should the focus be for future students who need to get into universities and college? What do you think their focus should be?
I think if your focus should mainly be on what you want to do, like focus on yourself and understand. I think it's a lot of self exploration out there. You need to explore. You need to understand. You need to you need to basically write down. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses and what you have to work towards, because that will help you to outline the bigger picture of what you actually want out there.
I think academically it is very important, especially since a large chunk of our audience is in schools. I think it's very important for all of you to focus on your internal assessments, especially seeing as to how, from our experience, final assessments we there was no we couldn't really we had to make sure that we focus on our internal assessments, and it's very important for you as well to make sure that you spend an equal amount of time on your assessments as well in your co-curricular activities, because again, all these come to your resume at the end of the day.
Yeah, also like grab each opportunity of giving your assessments out there, because that itself will give you so much of understanding about what you want. And we all know.
Getting into university basically it, right?
Yeah.
So
Could you repeat that question, Miss Marie?
yeah. So now that you are stepping to university, so don't you think that you'll also have to make sure that you do your assessments in all levels very well, not just wait for last minute and then do the final exam well. So you all know for sure that you all have to make all of your assessments are good.
Yes, yes,
I think
definitely.
schools also, a lot of we've seen a lot of the entire education system in fact has almost changed their framework. They are trying to make it more balanced. Instead of focusing on just final exams, they're trying to segregate and make sure that you do well both like individually in each exam as well as your final exam. So it's very important to pay equal attention to all your assessments.
Yeah, in short, basically just grab every opportunity you have out there.
Don't take it for
With
granted
your
in any way.
education. Do not feel that okay, there's going to be a second chance for you. Just give it your best.
And wherever you get a chance to take mentorship in any way, grab that opportunity, because
your
it's
guidance
very,
is very important.
Yeah, exactly. Surround yourselves with people who are aware of the field that you want to go into. Make sure you learn from them and then utilize that knowledge usefully.
Try to build a strong network.
Yeah.
Just like take any kind of mentorship. Maybe just go ahead and if you find someone really worth of that guidance, who might be able to help you out there, just go message them politely, ask them if they would be free to help you, if they would be willing to help you. And believe me, we have seen from our experience there are a lot of people out there, especially during this tough time, that are out there to help you. Like you just need to give them that one message and they're open to opportunities they can give you. So don't forget that you need to take that one step and then people are going to help you out there.
I think the greatest part of this entire pandemic has been like the overwhelming response of the people around us, like how people have just stepped up and offered help willingly, and it's been so selfless. I think that's the most overwhelming aspect of it. And all of us have to be really grateful
Yeah.
about that. So yeah, thank
So
you.
thanks to you, lovely
everybody.
people out there, yeah. Because
Yeah.
you guys are also that pillar of support, actually. So just give yourselves a tap on your back and feel proud that you guys are out there helping so many
Yeah.
other people, So
And whenever you get a chance to be the backbone for somebody, I think you should grab that opportunity.
yeah, not just academically, but also
in any way.
emotionally.
Yeah.
Emotionally also it's very important. Sometimes you do not need that physical help, but you need emotional support that you
You
need
just
to
need
give
to be
someone.
there for
Yeah.
someone. I think
So you can be that person who gives the other person like a push on the back.
And
like,
since everybody is locked up in their homes, you don't know what people are, going through. So just take up that, pick up your phone and just ask somebody how they. I think that's been really helpful.
I think we
as well.
ourselves do it, within our friend circle. We just
Yeah.
give someone a message,
Just ping somebody,
Yeah.
and it's
It's relieving,
when
comforting.
when you're feeling low and you get that message asking how are you. That like it really takes off a burden off your back, and it's just the most satisfying experience.
Yeah.
So do that.
Yeah. How are you doing, Miss Marie, today?
I'm doing so well because looking at the two of you all speak makes me feel so good and so positive. So it's wonderful to hear the two of you all speaking, and I think having this positive approach towards the pandemic is fantastic. And just watching you all itself makes me feel so good. And I'm sure those who are watching as well are going to be really encouraged and motivated.
Yeah. In fact, we can see so many wonderful messages out there,
Yeah, can you read
I
some
think
of
all
them?
of
Yeah.
these people, like, they're just proving our point. They're supporting us. So
There's so many people
yeah.
love the positive energy. Thank you for this. So happy to see you both. We're happy to have you guys on this.
thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, thank you for that motivation out there. So keep it going, guys.
Yeah.
Really, it's been wonderful having the two of you all here, Abigail and Paloma, and you all have been an inspiration to so many students, and still are going to be a lot of inspiration being on this outreach mentor, because this video is here to stay, and I'm sure a lot of students all over the world will be motivated. And that's what we are trying to pass on.
Yeah.
The message of being there for one another.
And I think we should all be we should all be aware of the fact that both of us, at least, we come from privilege. Like we have good Wi-Fi, we have a lot of amenities that help us deal with the pandemic effectively and very judiciously.
Yeah.
However, we do appreciate the fact that there are a lot of people out there that do not have the same opportunity for us, and that is why both of us push for the fact that whenever you get a chance to help somebody or in any way pass on your knowledge, especially
Just go
in
for
this
it.
time.
Just do it.
Yeah, it's very, very important. And we have seen, we've done internships, we've spoken to people, and we understand how useful it is to them for us to reach out to them and just to offer a hand, a hand of help.
Yeah, that's the reason you have plenty of time out there. So rather than just using your time, like, you can use this time very wisely. You have so many platforms out there. Reach out to maybe volunteering organizations, or student communities. In fact, there are a large amount of student communities, so maybe you can use those communities to pool in together, work as a group, and maybe come up with something. Also keep in mind the academic part of it as well.
Yeah, and it's a very rewarding experience. So if you do get a chance, then you can go for it.
Yeah.
Definitely, you all have done so much of social outreach, which has also gained you all, and academic achievements that have gained you all the Dinah Award. And I'm really so proud of you two young ladies. So we move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think it is monetarily wise for students doing their academics in top universities such as Harvard, Oxford, or Stanford, if it's off campus?
If you would ask me, I think I would say that these prestigious universities out there, I mean, they have a high value, if you see in this world. That's the reason they come under the top 10 or top 100 universities. So academically, if you tell me, it adds a lot of weightage to your resume, and it's of high value, basically. So I would say that yes, it is definitely worth it. Even though it's online, it is worth it. But Paloma, would you like to say?
I agree with you. Actually, the thing with these universities is the reason why they are so reputed and they have such a high level of academia is because they've been around for a long amount of time, and they have experience in delivering teaching in its finest forms.
Yeah.
So, like examples like as you said, Harvard, Stanford, etc. They have a
They have
very
a strong
finessed way
reputation.
of giving out their education. So even if it is online, I think a lot of these universities are offering courses, so you can take a look and you can see how well they are giving their education, they are imparting their education, and is helping students so much. So
yeah.
if you have the opportunity to join these colleges, then go for it,
For it.
grab it.
Yeah.
Because they are like, I think we can vouch for the fact that the reason why they're at the top is because they can deliver education no matter where you are.
And also, like, but at the same time, definitely do your research. You know,
Yeah.
your research is definitely important, because look at the, like, when you're doing your research, definitely keep these points in mind. Keep in mind, like, just look up if what is being offered on campus is even being offered online. Even if it's in small amount, just make sure that that's there. Then look at how, like, maybe you can go on campus, even if you cannot go, like, even although, like, a partial amount of it is online. Then maybe you can look at how these student unions, how do they work on, like, off campus, and how they work online. So, like, do your research in all of these things, and then understand, like, which, like, how to go about with this thing. Because definitely there are some programs out there, that you can do partially in another country, and then some part of it in another country. So look at all of that. Look how monetarily wise that decision is of yours and all, because in the end you want to get a wholesome achievement out of it. Yeah, and you want to have this wholesome experience. You there are different ways of doing it. You just need to find your right path. So don't just go bang in for it, but look at your path. Do your own research. Research is very important while doing all of this.
Yeah, just make sure that it's not just the academics that's being translated online, but also the co-curricular activities. I think the most successful colleges or universities during this pandemic period are the ones that can successfully translate their offline activities into online activities. And it's not that it does not exist. There are a lot of colleges that are very successfully doing it, even here in Dubai. So just make sure that there is an equal balance between academics and co-curriculars in your university as well, because at the end of the day, that's how you get the college experience. That's how you make those 4 years the most memorable years of your life. So I think that's and one more thing about these colleges, these top ranked colleges, is that they are very trained in delivering education in a way that it tends to your cerebral level of intelligence very well. So I think that, answering your question, Miss Marie, it shouldn't be a problem monetarily, at least, that you should leave the opportunity just because you're sitting at home. I think you should go for it, grab it if you can.
Yes. So that's exactly what I was thinking of, actually. So they shouldn't settle for something only because you're going to be a naysayer and say, it's a big university, and so why should I? Because it's online.
Just because it's online.
I mean, let me say, there are people who have gone into small universities and still they are working in large MNCs out there. I mean, they're working in big countries. So that, I think that's a myth. That's a myth that needs to be cracked. That just, like, only if you go to big universities you get that big fame out
At
there.
the end of the day,
it's your work, it's your hard work, it's how much value you as a person, you as a personality add to that company. Because if you see right now, companies, they don't look at how just your academic qualifications are. In fact, that's a very tiny part out there. The real weightage that is given is, like, how you are overall, skill development, co-curricular activities, how your academic.
At the end of the day, it's how you use that education you receive. So it all comes down to the fact that you are utilizing whatever education you get fruitfully and in the most judicious way possible. So just focus on that and you're good to go.
So there has to be a balance, definitely. I mean, I would definitely 100%. Want to have a 50-50 balance with academics as well as all-rounder. So that's
gone are those days, actually, where you just were like, you get your head in those books, that's over. We're living in the 21st century. It's the age of technology.
But even if you see, even the offline activities and, the extracurricular activities, they are all linked to academics. It is indirectly linked.
The reason why we have co-curricular activities is because we get to practically apply what we learn theoretically. So that is why colleges also prefer that we do co-curriculars, because because they get a chance to see that, okay, yes, this student has implemented whatever they've learned in their classroom on field. So I think that's the reason why today we colleges or whoever it is, educators, we focus on a balance, that you also have cerebral intelligence, you also have practical knowledge.
Yeah, and that's where STEM, I think, right? STEM,
Yeah.
science, technology,
Yeah.
engineering, and maths, and like that's where STEM, research and design, all of those, like exponential thinking, all of those things come into play.
Yeah.
So you need to start training your mind in all of that, because we're living in the world of technology. So you need to definitely work with it.
And this pandemic has also brought about a lot of technology, which people
A
who,
lot, yeah.
were not really inclined to get themselves involved.
I think people who were not into technology, I think they have realized, that it's time that
that word exponential that we've all only heard about, we've got to visualize exponentiality in this 2 years. We've just seen how much the entire world has had to depend upon technology for various things, whether it is workplace or at your schools or universities. Everybody's had to depend on technology. So I think we have witnessed exponential growth in technology, and and we're just going up on a hill up.
Yeah. So guys, you need to buckle up. We need to get those we need to get that going, because technology is going to change. I mean, it's already changing, in fact, so.
And we are just growing with it.
There's a big growth curve there.
Yeah.
Any questions you'd like to answer?
Yeah, I
from
think
the chat?
someone just asked, will you answer
questions from
the
the
chat?
chat?
Sure.
Yes,
If you have
sure.
questions,
Please
then
go ahead.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. So I just want to know if, we are so grateful and thankful that we have so much of technology and we are living where, we've got Wi-Fi all the time. But what about the people in the villages? They have got to deal with online education, but they are like, there's one computer for 3 children, So how do you think they can cope with something like this? Do you think our students can reach out to them in some way?
That's actually a hard hit reality, as much as we speak about the privilege, but it's an undivided privilege, if you have to agree. And I think I think that's where, we as the privileged people, really need to step up, because if you just take everything and you cannot share that, it's incomplete. It's it's undivided. It's not really fulfilling, because when you grow, you cannot grow singular. You need to grow plural. You need to grow together. So that's where we student communities, that's where social organizations and student led organizations, because if you see, like, today's world, it's more working on how young leaders are taking up. So leadership qualities, teamwork, it's just not something that needs to be written in pen and paper, but it needs to really be put on into reality over here. And we need to work towards maybe small things make a really big difference. Maybe you can start a fundraiser, maybe you can start like anything really small, and like that's what sparks the change. You can pull in so many people. And I think that's where we could reach out to these people and maybe help them in even in the smallest way. You cannot do big things, but the small thing can spark a change.
See, what Miss Marie has said, that's the one major problem, that whenever we've had any thing during the pandemic, whether it was with regards to the exams or any activities, that the one thing was that how are these people in communities where they do not have access to internet or like proper connections or proper devices, how are they going to catch up, how are they going to go ahead with it? So, and but what I can tell you from what I've seen is that in the beginning of the pandemic, obviously there were a lot of problems, but we've seen how student communities all across the world, whether it is through student-led organizations or it's just the main focus of what I'm seeing is that students are helping students now. That we are like a lot of students in back home, wherever it is, they have stepped up to collect funds, or they've stepped up to push on governments to kind of facilitate the giving of technology or like internet in these villages or wherever it is. So I think that is one thing that we have to work on, and we are constantly working upon. I think we have a question here.
Yeah, I think we have a question here. We'll just read it out. So the question is, as we already know, there were many technological teaching apps such as Byju's, which were a huge success in India. Then why do you think it was difficult to switch to online learning in India? If you would ask me from what knowledge I have about this, again, as what Miss Mari mentioned, it's because that there was this inequality in this online teaching, that was being provided. It was definitely for some people who could afford it, but some students, like, in the villages, in those places where where internet wasn't even accessible, that's where there was this lack of connection. So I think that's what, there are definitely institutions working towards this, to make this happen. But if you would ask me, I personally feel it was because students did not have access to it, that it was there in some places but not in
I think the
others.
reason these teaching apps previously they were used in urban areas. The reason I think the question why it is difficult to switch to online learning. Previously, these online apps, they were resources. They weren't really primary methods of education. So now, if you see, people don't have access to that primary method of teaching. Like, they don't have that in public schools they can't go to school and get that education. So how do they just focus on these resources? That's the problem. So they don't really have that method for them to move on to the secondary resource. Because they don't have that primary level of teaching. That's the At least in my opinion, that's why it has been more difficult to switch to online learning.
Yeah, but like, if you see, for students who have done their higher education through the use of online education, online learning, etc., they have got used to it over a period of time. I think it was just like the beginning that you have to start, but then over time you definitely get used to it. You need to figure out actually your own way of adapting to it.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a lot of information there. Okay, so if you see, besides universities supporting such causes, and we find also companies doing CSR and all of these activities to help communities. So definitely, it is important to get involved in all of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to my next question, what are the academic tips to students in this pandemic phase?
If the thumb rule that maybe I should give to everyone is just definitely focus on your present assessments or your internal assessments or anything, any kind of testing material that is being offered to you at that time, because there's a lot of uncertainty, so you never know what can come ahead of you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Allow me to add on to that. Please make sure you manage your time very judiciously, because even though you're at home, I feel like we while away more time at home than when we are involved in schools or wherever it is. So make sure you manage your time very effectively and keep time for your education, because especially as we've seen from experience, it's very important, as Abigale said, to focus on your academics as well. So just make sure you have that time in your day to kept aside for exercise, or for your diet, for your education, for your play. Like, just this time is more important for time management than any other time.
Also,
So,
apart
yeah.
from that, take good guidance from your mentors. Reach out to them. If you have peers who could help you out academically, go ahead and ask them as well. There are a lot of students out there who can help you, peer-to-peer buddies. They are there who can assist you if you have any help with that. And then also take notes. Also, another thing that's very important is since you're always on your screens, do give importance to your screen time, because understand that your screen time, how much you the screen time that you use, it can definitely have an impact adversely on you. So important to take enough eye breaks like that, or have good nourishment. That's very important. Having a very good diet during this time, eat healthy, stay fit, stay healthy, do enough exercise, because apart from just being academically proficient, we always tend to miss out on this physical part of it. So staying healthy, having a very good diet is very important. Eat a lot of fresh fruits, vegetables, drink a lot of water. I personally have seen that how water can, it's just a booster out there, so have a lot of water. And these are these are like important things, in that you need
I
to
think
keep in
one
mind.
more thing when it comes to your academics, since most schools, universities, etc., have transferred to this online method of teaching, a very big boon that at least I have experienced is the use of online recording. So a lot of classes are recorded. Please make sure you don't take that for granted. I know how much it has helped me to go back to those recordings, especially for my difficult subjects. It has been so useful to go back to recordings. So whenever any class is recorded, just make sure that you keep the recording for future reference, because
Yeah.
anybody can go back to your textbook, but in real time, in on-site classes, you can't go back to what's been taught in class. But with these recordings, you can. So just make sure you don't take that for granted.
Take a lot of notes.
Yeah.
Your notes, sometimes the notes that you write, can be very
That's
helpful.
very important.
And
Yeah.
last but not the least, do regular practice. Do not cramp them up last moment, because that's never going to help anyone. So take enough notes. Revise regularly, and when you revise regularly, you will tend to perform much
Consistently
much better.
well for all your assessments. That's the regularly revising leads to consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so great. So now that you all know all of this, now that you're stepping to university, what do you think are the academic tips that you all will give yourselves and to others?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna strike this balance definitely between my co-curricular and academics, because I've seen that that definitely helps me a lot, and it definitely keeps me active, because just giving that soul enough, like, full time to your academics is definitely not something that works well. Apart from that, definitely I'm going to revise my stuff well, take enough guidance, because sometimes, you might think that, oh, you know everything, but you're not the person who knows it all. Your mentors, your seniors, in fact, your seniors are there out to help you. They're sometimes so helpful. Student unions, I think I would reach out to them, definitely get enough tips, guidance for them, and then have a good head start.
I think it's also very important, especially what I will make sure to follow in university, is that I make sure I've always had a problem with this, that I don't get enough sleep. So it may sound very trivial, but it is a very important thing, that especially when you go on to universities, you're not going to get enough sleep. But just make sure on weekends, whenever it is, get enough sleep. And then since Abigale has focused on the academic part, I'll focus on the other things. Like, just make sure you give yourself time to breathe. University can be a whirlwind. Take some time, pause, call up old friends, get in touch with get in touch with them. Don't forget them, and make a lot of new memories.
Make a lot of new friends out there. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to have national, international, different kinds of people, that you're going to be meeting at university. So it's definitely a time to embrace different cultures, and
Broaden your perspectives.
yeah, diversity is very important in today's world. There are people out there who can teach you so much. Sometimes your books might not teach you that,
Yeah.
but people can teach you so much life lessons.
I think
that will be
university
remembered.
is that point of your life where you can actually say the phrase that the world is your stage. That's when you
Rule it, girls
that's
and boys.
That's when you can shine. That's when you can move, inspire others, and that's when you can really take a stand. So just make sure you completely make use of that fact.
I'm getting a glare over here because there's so much shine from the two of you.
I think
So-
we're giving that out there, because I
We
think more
hope
than
our
us,
positivity reaches
it's
out
just
to
channels
you.
out there, and you guys have it.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much for this love,
For your kind
this
comments.
comments, because
Yeah.
it definitely means a lot to come from so many wonderful people out there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with regards to possibly online past papers for your universities, and do you think all those are helpful? You all can just, guide yourselves into past papers and final papers. And now that everything is online, how effective is that?
Miss Murray had spoken to my friend yesterday, and she in fact was telling me, she herself, since she's also moving to university, she gave her papers, she gave her books, those guides, and all those important resources. She gave them to her juniors. So I think this is like past papers, books. If you have them, definitely give it out to your juniors, or give it to those people who you feel might require it. Because these are very important things.
Yeah.
You might feel that, oh, it's past, but trust me, those are the ones that actually
Yeah.
can somewhat give you a mind map, or this framework or skeleton that, okay, this is what is going to come, in your examination, or just in your academics
I
in
think
general.
just because we see a change in the way education is being imparted now, it does not mean the content is changing. These past papers, or these resources, they are basically keys to answering your future exams. So just because like the methods are changing, the content is remaining the same. So
Yeah.
these papers, they give a lot of practice. They
Yeah.
give a lot of confidence, in fact,
Yeah.
to you as a person who's about to give their exams. It's very important for you to focus on these papers, on these resources,
Yeah.
guides, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
just make sure that you utilize them well,
Well.
because they will definitely instill confidence
Yeah.
within you.
But like, also to add to what Paloma said, please understand that, once you get these papers, do not expect yourself to do, like, to crack every single question
Yeah.
at a time, because I've seen, that people beat themselves because of this, because they feel that, oh, I cannot do it. Do not expect yourself to do that. We have sailed in that boat, and we understand, we ourselves have understood that it's a very consistent the time built process, that you get used to it. It's not once and for all, and it's not like, you do not get that like at one shot. It's a progressive thing, and you need to work on it, and then automatically you will be able to crack those questions. You'll be able to understand concepts much more better. You need to revise and revisit those topics, and
Yeah.
then only you'll be able to crack
The
it.
only
Yeah?
point of these papers is for you to get experience and for you to get the confidence. So
Yeah.
when that is achieved, you're good to go. You can
Or
get-
just familiarize yourself with those things.
Yeah.
Just familiarize yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so for university, most of them have their university for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is usually a vision behind this. Do you all have a vision, or personally, you all will definitely have a vision? And what advice you would give to other students with regards to having that vision? As in, you're targeting something. Is there a goal?
I think it's very important for you to go ahead with at least an outline or a sketch of what you want to do, or what you want to do with in your college or university. You should always have what I want to focus on, although, is that you may have that outline at the beginning, but what those who have already passed out have told us, and what we also believe, is that although like you may have that outline, it may not, or
It
it
can
will not
change.
go according to plan.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so it can change.
So don't beat yourself up just because things haven't gone to plan. In fact, the best things happen when it is not planned.
When it's unplanned.
Yeah, and there have been so many experiences, but that does not mean you go. That's the point. You do not go blindly. You
Yeah.
make a plan, so at least you'll have
You have
clarity.
some goal.
Yeah,
At least.
and
You have
who
some
knows-
pathway.
and you will have guidance in your university as to what you want to do, what you want to pursue further, and so you can tweak your plan, you can change your plans change. That's why you make plans in the first place. So just make sure you have that framework and that outline. That's very important.
And also, we all are dreamers. It's good to dream. It's good to dream big. It's good to dream wide.
Yeah.
Because, when you dream, at least you have something to keep pushing you.
Yeah.
If you just went aimlessly, I don't think you would end up anywhere, And also understand that if you have a dream, you can live it. You have to believe in yourself for others to believe in it. So believe in yourself that you can make big things happen. Do not underestimate yourself, in whatever you're doing, because the best person, until you do not believe yourself, you cannot expect other people to believe you. Keep
Yeah.
that in mind. And also, a second very important tip I would like to give is that sometimes you might have like your friend, or maybe your buddy or somebody else may have a vision. It does not mean that you need to have like a similar vision, or you need to follow the crowd, basically,
Or have something
Yeah.
of the same magnitude.
or have it at the same time. You can take your time, and then you can discover yourself, and then you can understand that, yes, I want to do this. So it's like, you need to understand that the time process after school, or like when you're getting into that university stage, it is not the same for everyone. It's different for different people. It's different for different goals, and it's different for different visions and dreams.
Yeah. So focus on your own path, make your
Yeah.
own path, and just follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read somewhere, life is what happens to you while you're making other plans. So
Yeah.
what you have just said is really so encouraging, because plans can change, and it's not like you've lost out on some kind of important education system, because you've already got information there, and you moved on to another field. So then you can always move on to another as well. But it's all about the path.
I think
the
it's good.
progress.
It's good that if plans change, because that spontaneity, that's what gives you fun. That's what adds fun to life.
Yeah, that's what's the
Otherwise-
adventure.
Yeah,
actually.
otherwise
That's the
you
risk
just
that you
have
take.
yeah, that's the thrill. That's the that's what you get from that's when you say that life's worth living for
Yeah.
this
Yes.
for this thrill, for this like adventure.
If you have everything planned, then you know
yeah, it's
everything
very
is gonna happen.
mundane,
Then it's very
dull life.
boring. Yeah.
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 It's surprising for you all to say something like that, because I know exactly what you all have in mind and where you all are heading towards and everything. So you all are ready for any challenge that comes
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
way. That's important. I think that's what the pandemic has taught us, and you all have been that batch
Yeah.
of students who have weathered the storm
Sailed
and
through.
Yeah.
sailed through really
I feel
victoriously.
that's when the pandemic actually it shows its positive colors as well, because sometimes when you're with the crowd, when you're with people, you never have that time of introspection, self-reflection and everything. But sometimes when you're alone, sometimes when you're in that quiet place and you really need to understand what you're doing, like what you want, that's when like you have that time for yourself. You can give enough time for yourself. You can do your own research. You can do your own self discovery path, and you can find out.
Yeah.
So that's how you make use of your time, basically.
Wow, I think the girls have been and boys have been really, really help. Your talk has been really helpful to them,
Yeah.
and I thank you all for that. So I'll get down to my last question,
Yeah.
which is how should students stay positive in these difficult times?
I
Yeah.
think
It's a
very-
big and
it's a big
important
question. It's a very
question.
important question.
I
So-
think we're ending with a bang, in fact,
Yeah.
because this question is something that really needs to be spoken about. It needs to have more, there need to be more open conversations on this, because positivity, well-being is something that's very important.
I
And-
think I have just one thing, whether you're in high school, whether you're in university, if we were
or even
on
if you're
site,
just working,
yeah, if you're when you're on site, you're always going out, you're like meeting new people, you're making memories. Just because you're at home or behind a screen, that does not mean that you can't make memories. I've heard a lot of people in high school say that, oh, just because we are at home, we are the most fun year of our life has been taken away from us. That's not true. I think the biggest takeaway for me from the pandemic, the reason why I will have no regrets, is that I made sure that I made memories. Whether it was TikToks with my friends, whether it was Zoom sessions, movie nights, whatever it is, whether it was striving to get permission to go out for that one cup of coffee
Yeah.
with a friend, like just convincing your parents somehow. That's the reason why you will remember this year in the future, and you will
while
tell,
staying safe, of course.
yeah, while staying safe.
While staying safe, of
Disclaimer.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the reason why in the future you will be telling people that this is what I did in the pandemic. This is why you remember it so vividly. So make sure you don't have mundane, dull stories to tell. Make sure you have something exciting. That, oh, I had an adventure. So just make sure you make memories. Memories are basically the food for your soul. So keep feeding your soul.
And also, positivity does not just mean being mentally positive, but also physically, physically radiating that. So, this is the time where you can definitely spend good amount of time with your family and friends. Your family is around you, so like make fun memories, and I think make quirky memories, because when you do quirky things, those are the ones that remain the most.
Yeah.
So do not feel that, okay, I'm doing something quirky means I'm just like very unusual, because when you do unusual things, that's when you end up making the most memories.
Yeah, just go
Yeah.
for it. Don't think
Yeah.
twice.
And also apart from that, nourish yourself
I
well.
have a question. Do you feel that hope is significant when one is down and out? Definitely. Do you feel that hope is significant?
Of
when
course.
one is down and out.
Yeah,
That's what keeps us going. in fact,
that's
right?
the engine. Hope is
Yeah.
your engine,
It's the
especially
fuel
when you're,
to your soul. In fact,
especially when you're down. Hope is what brings you up, and I think people say that hope is what destroys people. I don't agree with that. Hope is, if you look at if you take hope positively, hope is what pushes you forward to reach for the stars, to do whatever it is to bring you out of that
Yeah.
period of doubt. down.
And in fact, when you hope, you at least have something to look forward to. If you didn't have that ray of hope, as if that sunshine out there, that okay, maybe things can get better, maybe things can change, you'll never have anything, you'll not have anything to strive to look forward to. So believing in yourself and hoping that there's going to be that that better day, that's going to keep you on the right path, and it's going to show you that yes, there is something, that next chapter is just out there. So that word hope itself is so powerful, and thank you for giving
Yeah.
that question, because I think those
I
people,
think that is what relates to the positivity question as well,
Yeah,
right? In fact, when I say hope, I get a smile on my face
Yeah.
because I'm hoping for the best, and that's keeping me positive.
and I think that hope is so relative to this pandemic.
That's the reason why a lot of us
Yeah.
are like striving to get out of that
Yeah.
period of dullness.
And hopefully we will one day,
Soon.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
It's also important to say this too shall pass.
Yeah.
It's a passing cloud.
Yes, so
Yeah.
that's going to
Yeah.
pass, and there's going to be better times. And I think we've had a wonderful time today,
Yes.
Abigail and
Yeah.
Paloma. I'd like you all to
Yeah.
close now
Yeah.
and talk to everybody
Yeah.
here. And
I think we should say
them.
thank you to Miss Marie,
Yeah.
for giving us this opportunity, because if I think she's also one of those pillars out there, who want to make a change. So thanks to her for giving us this
Thank you
opportunity,
so much.
and thank you
Flag
all.
bearer of hope.
Yeah, and thanks to all out there who are giving
Thank
such
you for
sweet and lovely
supporting us
messages.
throughout.
Okay. So that was really wonderful, Abigail and Paloma. I think you have wowed the audience, and I'm sure they'd want to hear more from students such as y'all. And y'all itself has been so positive and bubbly and made me feel so good. So I really thank all. I see a lot of hearts and thumbs up and everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's been really wonderful, this session, and I'm sure we're going to have more sessions like these, because I think this was the first time we tried live,
Yeah.
and live has been really good. And I think we can do this again on
Yeah,
a different
for sure.
topic.
On a different
so you
topic.
could probably mention what kind of topic you would like, and these girls would help you out. Or
In the chat box.
In the chat box out there.
So we'd like to say goodbye from me, Marie Ramos, and
From me, Abigale Fernandes.
And from me, Paloma Viegas.
Lots of love to you guys.
Thank you
Have a
all.
lovely day.
Thank you all for joining, and
and
have a nice day.
get connected.